Okay, so till now we have seen various functions, right? We started with how to create a NumPy array. Then we saw that we can create a shortcut. Then we saw that how you can create multi-dimension array. Then we saw that how you can check the dimension of your NumPy array. Then we saw that how you can look at the what is the type of elements present inside that NumPy array, followed by how to look at the type of your variable. You can create continuous number of elements. You can also see that the performance of NumPy array is going to work far better in comparison to your normal list. And we have seen with this example that how basically we have seen in fact two examples, and we have seen that there is a good difference coming on the same machine even when we are working on small data set. Then we saw that how you can even get your NumPy arranged in like odd values starting from any specific number. So we have seen all that. Then we saw that various type of random functions, like you can create random values from 0 to 1 and then programmatically change some portion to get some meaningful result to it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna create a variable a. In fact, let me first create it and then I will explain you what this function linspace is gonna do for me. So I want the value from 1 to 50, but I want it to be equally distributed into 100 parts. Okay, means between 1 to 50, I basically when I say 100 parts division, so maybe I would say 1, then 1.49 or 1.5 comma 2, or maybe 1.98 comma 2.48 and so on, right, like this. So what I'm saying is that between 1 to 50, split the data equally into 100 parts and return me. Let's see this output. So if I look at the value a, you can see here that I am getting 1, then 1.49, then 1.98, then 2.48 and so on. So it have equally divided into 100 parts. So you can see that the value is still ranging from 1 to 50, but there are 100 values equally spaced coming up in my output. That is what I have done. Now let's say you created this a, but you want to see that that how much is the memory being used by this particular element in terms of bytes. Okay, so there is a function for it called as item size, and this using this you will be able to look at that it have taken up 8 bytes of yours. Now similar to this, let's say if I have a NumPy arrange, and if I let's say am printing the value from 0 to 17, right? Now if you look at the shape of it, the shape of it is quite simple, right? So if you execute this, you can see that 18 comma is going to be our output. Let's see, I want to change this shape. I want to make it maybe something which makes sense. Okay, can I do it? Yes, I can do it. Maybe I want to make it 3D shape, 2 comma 3 comma 3. So basically 2 into 3 into 3 is going to be what, 18. That's what I have to provide. If you give any wrong part, you will get an error. So reshape, and I want to make it 2 comma 3 comma 3. Now if I execute this, you can see that it have created a 3D kind of array for me, and this is going to be what, there are two values like this, 1 2, and within that there is a 3 cross 3 matrix, 3 cross 3. You can see that this is a 3 cross 3 matrix and this is a 3 cross 3 matrix, right? So this is a 3D array which is in front of us by using reshape. If you want to in fact check it, you can save it to a variable b, okay, and say b dot shape. So you can see here that it is going to return you 2 comma 3 comma 3. So you can always change that, but make sure that you should follow the exact dimension what it's supposed to come, otherwise you will get an error. Okay, now sometime it do happen that I'm not really bothered about. So let's say numpy dot arrange, I have the value 18 to it. Now I am passing the value reshape, but after 2 comma 3 I don't know what is the number I need to keep, or I don't want to do that calculation. I can simply put -1, it will automatically do the calculation for me. Okay, so that is also you can always put, it will automatically adjust your dimensions accordingly. Now this is about creating your NumPy array, playing with a lot of functions with it, but what about if I want to access some element from it? For example, I have a NumPy array, so I'm gonna take a NumPy array which have 2 comma 4 comma 6 comma 8 comma 10 comma 12 comma 14 comma 16, right? So this is basically my input data. Now you can see your value of A, this is gonna be like this. Now if I want to, let's say, bring out this value 2 from it, the first element, I can say A of 0. So this is gonna return me 2. If I would have put, so you can see that this is just being used just like a normal array, right? Now if I want to print out, let's say 6, so this is sitting at 0, 1, 2, second element. So let's do it, means third element, but index start from 0. So that's the reason it's gonna return you 6. Now, how about if you want to return 6, 10 and 14? Now, the elements, they are present where? A, comma, if you say 2, 4 and 6, because these values are being present here, it will throw you an error. Why? You can see that. It will throw you an error. Too many indexes for array. Why? Because you have not bundled it like a list. So when you're passing it, you need to pass it as a bundled list. So I need to pass one more. And you can see here, now I'm getting 6 and 14. So keep this in mind. This is a very generic mistake I have seen a lot of beginners do especially. So kind of try to avoid it. Now, what if I want to print out the value of A from second index 6, but after that all the elements. So I can say value of A, okay, A, and I want to start from row index 6, colon, and I want all the elements. So I will leave it as it is, okay, blank. So if I leave it as a blank, it will take all the elements to it. Let's say I want to stop, maybe this is second, this is basically 8, this is 10, so this is the fifth index. So maybe I want to stop at fifth index, start from second index and stop at fifth index. In that case, you can pass it. You can say 2 to fifth index, and this is gonna work exactly in the same way what we were expecting. Now, similar way, if I want to print out the value but hoping over every two indexes. So I can do that by saying start from 0th index but hop over 2 index, basically 2, then after that hop over this 2 indexes after that. So after 2, just jump over this 4 value, go to 6, then jump over this 8 and go to 10, so like that. So now if you do like this, you're gonna exactly get the output what is desired output. Okay, so this is how you can play and assess the elements for your NumPy array. Let's do few more things for the 2D array part now. So let's say if I say np dot array, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass some value to it, 1 2 3 comma 4 5 6 comma 7 8 9. I'm just randomly keeping some values to it. Okay, so I got the value A. Now if I print it, this is how the output looks like, right? Now let's say I want to print the value 9 now. Now in that case, it is now a 2D array. So I have to say 0 1 2 index here and 0 1 2, this is a column index here. So this is going to be 2 comma 2. So I have to say A 2 comma 2. This is gonna return you what? 9, right? So this is how you need to work when you're working with respect to column indexes. Similarly, let's say if you say that I want all the values greater than 2. So in that case, wherever this condition is going to be true, it will return true part, otherwise it will return false. Similar way, if you want to also put some conditions, you can always do that. You are most welcome. A greater than 2 and A less than 5. So if you do this, you will notice that it's going to return you the value whatever is following this condition. Okay, so this is how you can play an SS of your NumPy array. How about if I want to play with some subset of array? Okay, so let me explain you what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to do some changes to my NumPy array. So what I'm going to do, let me take up np dot range, and I'm taking the value from 0 to 9. So now what I'm going to do, if I assign the value b is equal to a, okay, this is very interesting component, please watch it carefully. Value a is this, okay, value a is this, but value b is this. Now if I say that value of b I'm changing, not changing the value of a, but I'm changing the value of b to, let's say, 11. Okay, so when I basically did this and printed out the value of b here, you can see that when I'm seeing the value, I'm getting this 11. But if you see the value of a also, it got changed, right? This is interesting. How come that happened? Because in NumPy array, if you assigned an array to another array, it's still pointing to the same location. So what is happening? You have put the value to this and you have assigned the value A, and here you kept 1, 2, 3, so on. But when you assign this value B is equal to A, you have not created anything new. You have not created any new object, but instead it is just basically assigning a pointer to it B. That's it. So if you do any change in A or B, it will impact the other. Okay. So that's what the reason you are getting this sort of output. There's a way to handle it. I will explain you up, but keep this in mind. And if you want to confirm whether A and B both are sharing the same memory location or not, you can always do that. You can say numpy dot shares underscore memory, and you can say A comma B, and you can see that it's returned true, means they both share the same part of the memory. Like this, you can always go and check that. Now, how to handle this? How let's say I don't want A and B to share the same memory location, but instead I want both of them to create their different copy of object. So in this case, again let me create numpy dot arrange the value 10. Okay. Now instead of saying B is equal to A, I would say B is equal to A dot copy. What this is gonna do, it's gonna create a separate object B now, not the same object but the different object. So now if I do B0 of 11, this is not gonna impact my A at all. So if I do a B, I will get this. If I do an A, I will still get my old A value. And in fact, if you want to again check whether the memory locations are same or not, you can always say np dot shares memory, and if you pass A comma B to it, you will notice that it is gonna return me false. Okay. So this is how you can always go and cross verify whether they are sharing the same locations or not. Let's perform some more operations. So what I'm going to do now, let's say I have an array A, np dot array. I'm going to pass my elements to it, 1, 2, 3. In fact, let me put it in this format, otherwise I will get an error. Okay. Now I have to say 4, 5, 6. Let me close them up. I got my array A. You can see that this is my value. I want to transpose it. Transpose means make all my row as columns and make all my columns as rows. So if I do this, you can see that 1, 2, 3 came now in this format, 4, 5, 6 are coming like this, right? So from 3 cross 2, it became 2 cross, from 2 cross 3, it became 3 cross 2, right? That's what this transpose is going to do for you. Now let's play around few more things with it. For example, I have an array B where I'm passing np dot array, and here I'm passing my data point, let's say 7, 8, 9, and I'm passing some more value, let's say 10, 11, 12. Okay, let me execute this. So I have A, which is this, I have B, which is this. If I say is A equal to B, okay, I'm comparing each element one by one of A and B. It's going to return me what? False, right? Because definitely 1 is not equivalent to 7, 2 is not equivalent to 8, and so on, right? This is one important thing. You can perform all these Boolean operations quite easily in this case. Similarly, if I want to vertically stack one over the other, means I have this A like this, right? I have this A. Now below this A itself, I want to stack this, means I want to say 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 like this. I want to stack these elements one below the other. Can I do that? Yes, there is something called as vertical stack which can help me achieve this. So I can say numpy dot v stack, and I can just pass the value A comma B to it, and you can notice that it got vertically stacked like this. Similarly, there's a horizontal stack where it will just put it in the horizontal side. So I can say np dot x stack, and I will just pass A comma B, and you can see that it's going to return you the horizontal stack of your output. Okay, so that's how you can basically get your horizontal stack of your outputs. Now similarly, let's perform some more mathematical operations to it. So let's say again, if I take np arrange from 1 to 10, okay, So you can see that it's very simple, right? Basically, we are just we have some inbuilt function, a very convenient function, and we are just using it as it is. Now, let's say on this a, I want to perform some operations. For example, I want to get the sign value of this. So I can say numpy dot sign of a. This is going to return me all the sign value of your a, right? Similarly, if you want to apply cos theta and all on this, so you can get cos of a, you can get even this output. Similarly, if you want to do an exponential of your data, you can say np.exp, which is for exponential, and you can get all the exponential values. Now, all the values of a, let's look at it. Again, I want to sum them up. I want to add all the values present in it. You can say np.sum. I can pass the value a to it. It will just sum up all the values. I want to get all the median value to it. I can say np.median, and this is going to return me the median value for it. Similarly, if you want to check the standard deviation, if you don't know about all these things, what is mean, what is median, what is standard deviation, we're gonna learn each and everything while going further. So don't worry about it. We're gonna learn each and everything about it. So even I can say a.tstd, you can see that this is how we can get your output, right? So this is interesting, right? If you look at it, we are able to perform all these things so easily in this case. Now let me create another array. If you go back to np.arrange, now I'm going to take the value from 0 to 9, and I want to reshape my vector from 3 cross 3. Okay, so if you look at a, this is going to be your data. Now one thing which I want you to basically notice, let's say I want to get the basically I would like to get the determinant of my matrix. So this is a matrix for which I want to calculate a determinant or inverse. Now these things are readily available if basically if you are going to use linear algebra package. So if you say determinant of a, you can see that it's returning me this. Now if you don't know what is determinant, what is basically inverse of matrix and so on, feel free to please follow the algebra section, and there I have explained in detail what is all this. So right now just understand that how to, we are going to calculate all this with my numpy package, but later you're going to understand each and everything in depth, that what are these things. Right now I just want to show you the convenience of using this so that you get a fair idea that how this works and how numpy is making your life very easy, that you need not do anything and it automatically take care of most of the stuff. Let's quickly calculate the inverse. Similarly, I will use this linear algebra package. I'm going to pass my inverse function, pass a to it, and we will get this output. I want to get all the eigen values for it. Again, very simple. I can say numpy dot linear algebra dot eigen vectors and so on. So you can get all the eigen values for it. So this is the way you can perform all these things. Now let's say you have a b vector which is nothing but the transpose of array A. Now what you want to do, so you can see that this is a b now and this is your A. Now let's say you want to do a dot product of them. Again, if you don't know what is dot product, again this will be taught in depth into linear algebra part. So np dot a comma b, and you will notice that this is gonna do this multiplication and we get the dot product for both of them. Okay, now similarly you can also even change your data types. You can define your data types in your array. I have already explained you once, but this will make more sense now. So let's say if I say a is equal to np dot array, I'm passing the value 1 1 0. Okay, but now I'm telling it that I want to pass it as true and false and not as 1 0. So I will say d type is equal to bool. Okay, so this is now gonna treat it 1 as true and 0 as false. Now similarly I can say b is equal to np dot array, and I can pass here again the same part 1 0 1, and I'm saying that I want this value to be treated like a boolean. So I can just say d type is equal to bool and it will take care of it. Now after that I want to apply or operation, and operation and so on. I can always do it. I can say numpy dot logical underscore or a comma b, and this is gonna return me all true false output based on whether one value is true then it will always return true. Similarly, I can perform the AND operation. So I can say np dot logical underscore AND A comma B, and you can see that I'm gonna do or an AND operation on it. Similarly, if I say A is equal to A, see, this is gonna return me true, true, true. But let's say I want to see that whether all the values are true. So I can just add here np dot all. Okay, so right now it was a very small boolean vector, so it was not making much sense. But imagine if it's a huge, then it will make sense for you to always go back and compare all this data set. Let's perform some more. Okay, so let me create our basically an numpy array again, numpy array, and I'm gonna pass now 1 comma 2 3 comma 4, and let's execute it. This is my A now. Now if I say A dot sum, this is gonna return me that how many values are there. But if look at this I've basically said 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. I don't want that. Maybe I want a little different output. I want to say 1 plus 3 and 2 plus 4, means this column wise addition like this, right? So I want to add like this. So in that case, you have to say A dot sum axis is equal to 0. Okay, now you can see that I'm getting an appropriate output. If you change it to 1, let's say A dot sum axis is equal to 1, you will notice that then it will start doing 1 plus 2, 3 plus 4 like this. So you can see that 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 4 is 7, and that's how we are getting this output. So even you can change up these values and can always look at this output. Similarly, you can say A dot max. It is going to tell you the maximum element of it. But let's say you are interested in the index at which the maximum value is there. You can say argmax. If you do an argmax, this is going to tell you that at what index the value is for. If you want to confirm it, you can see it here, right? So it's at index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So this is sitting at index 3. So that's how you can always go and do this. Now, if you check up the shape of this A dot shape, you will basically get this output. But what I'm going to do now is, let's say I'm going to take up another array, okay, so that we can use that particular array for this particular format. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say A is equal to np dot, range. I'm going to take the value from 0 to 9. Okay, so let's say this is my 0 to 9. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say A dot shape. You can see that it's returning me 10 comma this, right? So, or I could have in fact taken it from 1 to 10 so that I can easily convert it to 3 cross 3 if I want to. Okay, so let's do this. Now if I have this, what I want to do is, you can see that it's returning me 9 comma nothing, right? So if I want to add this new dimension to it, I want to make it to 2D from 1D. There is a trick for doing that, which is going to be very important while you are going to work on your machine learning algorithms. So you are saying that all the rows, and you are just saying np dot new axis. If you do this, this is going to add automatically one more dimension. And if you check the shape now, you will see it like it will give you 9 comma 1. Okay. Similarly, if you want to do the sorting of your array, you can say that np dot sort, give the value a to it, and it's just going to sort the output. Okay. So this is the way you can play around with your NumPy. There are so many things, but what I have done is I have very briefly and quickly just explained you all this NumPy part, but we are not yet done with NumPy. While solving different problems, for example, even when I will go to linear algebra, you will notice that I will keep on using this NumPy and showing you that, see how we can implement these things. So at lot many places, I'm going to keep on bringing this NumPy, and where you're going to learn NumPy along with the context. So there are few more things with it, as I said, but we will learn all of those things whenever the relevant information will come. But for now, this is just to give you a fair enough idea that how NumPy works and how powerful is this NumPy in comparison to your Python normal list.